Good morning, Muscle Car Corner here. Mecum. Tell you what, it's a beautiful day out, and I'm just looking forward to get a look at some cars again. Gonna bring it to y'all again today. Go home over the weekend, be back Tuesday. So looking forward to it. It's been a great week. Just looking forward to getting it wrapped up today and getting home and relaxing a little bit. We're gonna go through one of the main buildings today. Just kick it off and take a look at some of the amazing cars they have in this first building. It's busy today. Parking lot was full this morning when I came in. They shifted me to another parking lot. Nice little Chevy pickup. This is going to be busy in here. We'll see what I can get filmed. Got an amazing Mopar collection here. So here we are, Friday, Mecum. The first Friday. The second one usually is a little bit busier, but got an amazing collection of Shelby's here as well. Really nice. 70 Shelby GT 500. One of 7 in this color combination. Wow. One of 7. 70,000 miles. May go up to 175, 150 to 175. R code 428. Cobra Jet. The old Cobra Jet. It was a jet that was a Cobra. Well, it's sharp with that interior color, that maroon. Love the wheels on these. The man, the myth, the legend, Carroll Shelby. He's sorely missed. He sure put some unbelievable cars out there to go on for many, many years. Wow, look at this turquoise. That is sharp. Wow. Just amazing. Just love this color. Grabber green. 14,000 mile example. May go 130 to 150. Fantastic car. You don't see that grabber green too often. What an amazing car. Cobra Jet GT 500. $70. 428 Cobra Jet. 80 to 100,000. It's got a 300 rear axle in it. one of one as produced per equipment. That's what it's all about right there. Shaker 428 under the hood is amazing. There's a lot of time spent on the restoration on this car. The plating, the markings, everything is 100%. You can even tell, like, those valve covers, they clear coat them so you don't have to polish them. They did put the markings back on. Just a beautiful example. Love it in this color too. Well, these Mustangs are just fantastic. Let's look at this yellow one while we're over here. Finish the rest of the Mustangs off. Set my drink down. Man, tell you what, that is just sharp. That was one of the most unique hoods ever on these cars. You know, you've got the induction here in 3 areas, and then the hot air extracts out the back of the hood, keeping a constant flow going through at a high speed. You know, this car looks amazing in this yellow. This is grabber yellow. I did not realize there was 3 different grabbers. Grabber yellow, grabber green, grabber blue. Boy, I like the way this car is just... This is one of the nicest 70 Shelby GT 500s I've ever seen. It's a 4-speed car. Simply amazing car. I just heard a drag car crank up. Something cranked. Sounded good. Look at the green on this. This is sharp. There's just something about this mint green 4-speed. Those color stripes go with it. It just all kinds of ties in together. It looks unbelievable. Love these early Mach 1s. But I gotta tell you, I was raised up to be anti-Ford to a certain extent. My dad was a Mopar guy and GM in the later years, and we used to shun the Fords. I was driving a Road Run convertible, 69, and I looked at those things. I was like, man, they're sharp, but I don't think they got what it takes. But they were quick, really quick cars back in the day. Look at this GT 500 here. This is simply fantastic. 68 Shelby GT 500, 428 Police Interceptor. That's funny how they bring the police into it. Talking about performance, and they've got to bring the police into it. What's that all about? There's been some police cars intercepted me back in the day. And I'll leave that story at that. 68 Shelby GT 500, 160 to 180. Number 261. Roll bar. Now I got a question here. We're going to look at another Shelby, that 70 sitting there at GT 500. It's orange. I wonder if that's called grabber orange. Let's take a look. We're talking about Ford colors. Competition red. It's more orange than it is red to me. It's a 351 car. It's not a big block. Kind of unique. Most everybody opted for the big motor. But you know what? That 351 Cleveland was a potent motor. You know, Bill Elliott at Daytona back in '87 did 212 or 216 on the backstretch with that car. You know, and they showed what a Cleveland could do. Big block heads on a small block, basically, is what they are. When I have my Pantera, it's stout. It's Ernie Elliott specs 351 Cleveland, 610 lift roller cam in it. It's pretty stout. We'll be getting some videos of that pretty soon. I find time to work on it and do some things. She needs a little love and service it and this, that, and the other thing. Bleed the brakes. That's going to be coming up soon. Well, I'll tell you what, I love this competition red, they call it. I could have swore that really looks like an orange to me, but I'm just saying. Let's take a look at this Boss 302 over here. It's sweet. This is the Georgia Mustang collection. Okay. Nice. Well, nice to meet you, Georgia Mustang collection. I'm digging it. You know, I wanted to kind of show you something on this car that I think is important. This Boss 302 was an amazing car for Trans Am racing right out of the gates. That's what it was built for. And they said 290 horse. Man, I'll tell you what, these little 302s were just whining little motors. They would turn some RPMs. A buddy of mine had one, a 4-speed, and I drove it a couple times. I was really impressed. But see the Hurst shifter right there, they don't have the correct, that handle needs to be turned to the left so you get a pull on it properly. I never did understand, you know, you got this unbelievable Boss 302. Look at that funky steering wheel Ford put on them back then. I mean, couldn't they have done something a little more than that? I'm just saying. To the engineers back then. That's one butt ugly steering wheel, I gotta say. Nothing against Fords, nothing against any of that. It's just who designed that and put it in a car like this. That's what I want to know. Man, I tell you what, this car is amazing in this competition red. It's sharp. A lot of people here today. It's a good day to be off. People are drinking cold beers already. A hardcore muscle car dudes. I did that for many years, not anymore. Not drinking is a good thing for me. Kept me from doing a lot of things I wanted to do. If I was drinking, I sure wouldn't have done this channel the way I've done it, you know. Each to their own. I lived through the late 60s and 70s. That's saying something. Well, that's some Stangers for you. A beautiful collection for, take a look at this eye. It's BMW eye. It's quite amazing. Beautiful Ferrari. That's a sharp looking car, boy. 911 Dakar Porsche. Pretty cool. Dirt tires on it. You gotta love that. You imagine taking that thing out, just thrashing it out in the dirt roads. That would be fun. I gotta tell you there. Oh, Michael, you got a pretty nice little collection here. Look at this Ferrari. Oh my gosh. I'm looking at these from the back end first, but take a look at that. That's unusual. You know, these are there for a reason. It's a major downforce right there. Mini spoilers. How engineering on that is just crazy. That's so genius, I gotta say. So the air comes from the top on over, and when it hits this, it gives the car more downforce, as well as the rear spoilers built into it, into the bumper. You know, but that I've never seen that, and I tell you what, Ferrari's smart, and they know how to get cars through the air, and this thing is just phenomenal. What is it? 812. Wow. One of 999 produced. I wonder what the top speed is on this car. That's what I want to know. Look at that. That's simply amazing. The bodywork on this. It's crazy. Wow, it is sleek. I'd hate to see how much this costs. 192 miles on it. Take a look at this. Look how wide this car is. It is phenomenal. It's all about the wind, the air. Take a look at this. That's cooling. It routes it right through there and gives it more downforce. Gosh, man. The more I look, the more I see just an amazing what they do with the air that comes over these cars and how they get it as slick as possible and as much downforce as possible. I'm gonna have to look this car up. I've never seen this model, and I'm just, it's an amazing supercar. That's all I can say. Wow. Hats off on that one to Enzo's team. Well, let's roll on over and take a look at some Mopars for a moment, if y'all don't mind. We've got a Hemi Superbird. Hello. We've got Hemi Cuda. Look at this 70 Superbird. It's a 446 barrel. Look at that bad boy. Limelight Superbird with original 446 pack engine in it. My. You know, I came back from Talladega and Atlanta after being around these cars for, 3-4 days. And I tell you what, I want one, something fierce. And they are on their way up price-wise right now. They were at a lull last year, and now they're climbing back up, as well as these Hemi Cudas. I've been keeping an eye on them, and they've come up in price tremendously. Now at 250, 300,000, kind of. You could have got one about 2-3 years ago, and now look at the price, 500 to 600,000. One of 59 with a 4-speed. It's a track pack 354 Dana. That's what it's all about right there. The pinnacle of muscle cars. I know y'all have heard me say that before, but You know, it's what does it for me. This is top of the heap as far as muscle cars go. This is the one. LS6 Chevelles and all the different cars. This one always comes up top for me. Those billboards in 71 were just, 70 was a beautiful year, but 71, they refined these cars. They had the gills, the front, the grill on it in the front, everything. It's just amazing, the styling, you know. Look at this beautiful Charger. It's a V code, full 46 pack. They're stating 125 to 150. One of 347 produced and 70 with a 4-speed. It's a 8 3/4 rear with 355 gears in it. They didn't opt for the Dana track pack on it. And I tell you what, I love a 70 Charger RT, and this one, I'd like to have that top black and the interior white. That's what I think looks the best on this RT with a white bumblebee stripe on it. You talking about originality, you look, and they kind of messed up trying to clean the VIN tag, but that kind of shows you a little bit more originality. Something you got to really look at close on a muscle car is the VIN tag. Has it ever been off? Are the rivets painted? Is it the exact location it should be? There's so many things that tie into that. With Mopar, you got numbers on the core support, and you got them on the rear trunk and gutter in the back. So you have numbers all over that tell you what the car is, but that VIN, looking at it and looking for originality of stuff like this. There's the original build sheet for it. That's what's left of it. What does that tell me right offhand? It tells me that this car was sat outside, and it was not garage kept. You can see a garage kept car when you find the broadcast sheet in it. Usually they're in very good condition. They've got, depending on the location or where you find them, they got spring marks on them if they're under the seat, and they're in the left rear trim panel sometimes. And looking at the quality of the build sheet and originality of it, it's super important. So that shows originality. It shows this car may have sat outside at one time or another. I found, Mopars with beautiful broadcast sheets, and you can tell if that car is garage kept or not. I love a 70 RT. It's just one of my faves. And this one is optioned well. It's sharp. Let's take a look at another Charger. 426, 425 horse, 4-speed, one of 475 produced. It's amazing. Love the color combination on it. It is a Hemi car, which is amazing. They're stating 150 to 175 on this Hemi Charger RT. One of 475 produced. B5 blue. It looks good with the dog dishes on it and the painted wheels. He's got a little bit bigger wheels in the back, aftermarket, to get some meats up under it. So that Hemi will get just a little bit of traction. The old wood handle on the 4-speed, just the way it came. Pre-pistol grip. Came out in 71. I think pistol grip was the thing that really I loved on the Chargers, you know.
So it mimics the difference.
Wow. You know, 68, I just love the taillights on a 68. Simply phenomenal. I love those round taillights. It just does something to the back of the car opposed to a 70 with those type of taillights, you know. That hideaway headlights, RT, it's just phenomenal. The restoration on this car is just bar none amazing. Let's take a look at a Plymouth GTX Hemi car, one of 98 produced, the gentleman's muscle car with a Hemi in it. This is what the gentleman drove back in the 70s, 69 and 70. You had to be a gentleman. Now, they always said that because the older guys, the gentlemen, you know, they weren't the young crowd. They were the middle-aged dudes that had these cars and knew what they were and respected them. And they called them the gentleman's muscle car. Had a lot more frills than the Roadrunner. I don't like that green interior, but it works with the green exterior, so it's still a super cool GTX. And another piece of Mopar history. It's well restored as well. It is. Let's take a look at the window sticker and the broadcast sheet on this car. And I don't have my glasses on to see that. It was $46.92 new, and let's take a look at how much that 426 Hemi was. $700.90. That was the big option right there. $142 for the track pack for a Dana 354 rear end. But a couple things, you know, talk about track packs. You know, you got a 354 and then you got Super Track Pack 410. Now, when you check that box for that track pack, that the A33 right there, track pack, that came with a lot of different things. It came with a heavy-duty radiator. It came with a heavy-duty clutch, the Hemi clutch. It came with a heavy-duty 4-speed. And then getting on through to the back of the car, you had a Dana rear, Dana 60 that came with it, 354, 410. But on top of that, these were unibody cars. And in the front where the leaf springs bolt on, that's where all the torque goes to when you hump on these things. So the track pack car had gussets that were all welded around that area where the front leaf spring is. And you could get a car up on a lift and tell if it was a track pack car. And I might have a Dana rear end under it, somebody put under it, but you can tell if it's a real track pack car. So there were a lot of things when you checked that box for $140 that you got. It was a heck of a deal, and a lot of people didn't realize that back then, you know, and they just put the 8 3/4 under it. And a Hemi with an 8 3/4, you know, that's a lot of torque for that axle to handle. So just going into track pack and a couple other things on these Hemi cars, you know, just thought you might want to know about that. You may have known that, but pretty cool deal that Mopar did back then, you know. And this 71 Roadrunner is just amazing. It is a Hemi car, air grabber, sassy grass. .426 Hemi, just beautiful. As I look at this restoration on this car, it's a nice restoration. Um, there's some things they could have done, to take it a little bit further, but you know, the final touch on reassembling the car and making sure everything is right to bring it to auction or to show. I'm just saying, Mopar reproduction battery is a biggie. That's so many people miss that. I don't know why. I won't say anything else, but just looking at originality, like this sticker, little things like that give you telltales about the car. Looking at the motors that have been out of it and how things are painted under the hood. Are the markings back on it that were on it from the factory and on the valve covers? All those things that you take the final time to really go through these cars and, put all the chalk marks back on it and make everything just the way like Graveyard Cars does. He's anal about all that stuff, and but when it's all said and done, it's an amazing car when it's all said and done. So this is one of 28 with a super track pack. They're stating 200 to 250 on this car, and it's worth every penny of it. Very few of these 71 Roadrunners had Hemis. Here's a broadcast sheet on it. That's a copy. So when you're looking at broadcast sheets, we'll get back into that a little later on. I won't go deep into that right now, but looking at VINs very carefully. See, those rivets have never been out of this. They're not painted. Yeah, patina on the VIN itself. It's been cleaned to take some of that paint off the top. And that's looking at things like that, really staring at a VIN and decoding it and figuring out what the VIN really means. A lot of people take these off. Some paint them. Some paint the rivets. I mean, it's a wide variance, but that's something you got to look at big time. Just saying. And that one was right on. So the Go wing on the back, just amazing. It's got the correct tips on it, the Tommy gun tips. Love the decals. You know what? This car is just simply fantastic. I'm a big 71 Mopar fan. I've always liked them, and 71's always been one of my favorite years. Look at this Charger. I mean, the RT. What is this? Where was this sold at? Salem, Virginia. Base Charger, two-door RT was $37.11. Super track pack cost $233, $235.65. And the 440 E87. Wow. 61.55, and the 4-speed was $119, bringing to a grand total of $49.70. This black with a white interior tuxedo car is just simply amazing. I just love it. Two broadcast sheets where they say it's going to go 200 to 250. I'll tell you what, you don't see the black and white too often. It's really sharp. And I really like it. I got the wrong tires on it. I would have put the original tires that came on it. Fantastic piece. Well, let's take a look at some other Mopars down here while we're on Mopars. We've got this amazing TA that I just really like. Plum Crazy Purple TA. Original driveline, 2 broadcast sheets, 76,000 miles, 80 to 100,000. These cars have stayed strong through the years, and a Plum Crazy TA is worth every bit of $100,000 all day long. These cars are going to do nothing but go up in price. You're talking about an investment, getting into these cars, they're rolling 401ks. I've had a collection for many years and always bought and sold, and you got to really look at the car close and really have somebody knows what they're doing on before you buy one of these, Looking at the originality of the VIN on this is really nice. I'll tell you what, these were high whining. The damn 6-pack setup. That was like 1150 CFM on a 340 cube, screaming demon little motor, boy. I tell you what. This and the ARR CUDA were the cars for a Trans Am series for Mopar. They were both a force to be reckoned with, no doubt. We went to Can-Am at Road Atlanta. Trans Am series, I don't think we knew where they were running. And I never got a chance to see that racing. I know it was out in California mostly, Laguna Seca and road courses out there, Riverside and whatnot, but never got to go to a Trans Am race back in the day. I went to a Can-Am race 2 years in a row at Road Atlanta, 70 and 71. Got to meet Peter Revson, Jackie X was there, and Paul Newman. Pretty cool stuff in the road racing. That's what got me into road racing was that. We used to go and spend 4 days there at Road Atlanta. So let's take a look at some of the specs on this. Here's a breakdown of the fender tag on it. If you want to just to decode the car, and copies of the broadcast sheet. Now, I'd like to look at some of the patina that did copy. See some of this stuff. I'd like to see that patina on these broadcast sheets. This car, I would tell you that it was garage kept pretty much its whole life by just looking at that broadcast sheet. If that's the original broadcast sheet, which I'm sure it is. It's got 2 broadcast sheets. Everything coincide with each other. Amazing. So just a little bit on looking at VIN numbers and broadcast sheets and codes, all the things you want to know about to look at these cars and know what they really are. I love this ARR CUDA. Now, let's take a look. Which would you rather have, this one or this one? That is a hard decision to make. I'd have to have both of them. That's my answer. Let's take a look at this broadcast sheet. A lot of patina on this one as well. Kind of tells me this car probably sat in the garage most of its life. It's got some deterioration there. It all depends on where the car's from too. You get them where they're up north with no humidity or out west with no humidity. Sometimes they just kind of crumbled when you pulled them out because of the dried out the paper. Florida car is going to be a little moist. You get down into brass tacks on, what to look for. So I'm just trying to give you all some hints. Having a broadcast sheet's a big deal. This is a neat car. Wow, the odometer reads 162 miles. I don't know about that. 125 to 150. Rally red, white interior, and two-tone interior. That's what I wanted to show you. When you ordered these cars, you could order just how this is. Seats and trim panels white. You want the carpets and everything else in red. And this has got black seat belts. Sometimes you could order red seat belts as well, which some people opted to do. So kind of a cool deal. Two-tone interior. I like it. It makes it pop. The white bucket sitting in that red carpet just makes it pop. And then the red steering wheel. Pretty cool. Color keyed steering wheel. Nice. I think it was all of these cars. None of them had consoles on them. They're all just that nasty little 4-speed pistola grip. Well, I'll tell you what, these cars are just simply fantastic. It'd be really a hard decision, like I said, to figure out which one you really want. Would y'all rather have the TA or would you rather have the ARR CUDA? I told you what I wanted. Let me know in the remarks section of the video. I love this RT. It's really neat. But this convertible next to it's super rare. 383 70 CUDA convertible. Now they only made a handful of these with the 383 in it. 125 to 150, one of 132 produced. One thing about these, because my dad had a 71 RT 383 Challenger convertible back in the day. Black top, black gut, red, rally red. And with these cars sat outside, or were subject to the snow and the ice and the salt on the road, a lot of them went by the wayside. They were up north, and these things didn't have real good draining. If this car sat outside instead of being garage kept, they had drains in here that it went down into, but a lot of times it rusted the inner and outer wheelhouse out. If those drains got clogged, sat under a tree, got some debris in it, and then they clogged and the water backed up and it started these things rusting. These Mopars are like tin cans, so it's really, if you can find a convertible that's been garage kept, you're way ahead of the game. So this Hemi CUDA is really neat. It's a track pack car, 354 Dana. It's got 33,000 miles on it, 200 to 250,000. Now, you know what? Looking at this car, the painted shaker on the N96 option opposed to the silver paint, I like it both ways, but looking at this car, I like the painted more than I do the silver rough finish they had on them. But that's just my preference. I'm not sure. It would depend on when the car was built on which emblem it had on that shaker, and basically designated. There was two different emblems in '71, and they ran out of emblems and just started using the other style. So it's whatever worked back in the day for Mopar. But this car rolling off the showroom floor, man, I would have been a proud owner to have this thing going home with me. So, so many Mopars, so little time. I wish I could just own one of every one of them. This RT Challenger is really nice. I like it. It's a 446 pack car. I looked at it yesterday, and it's a super track pack. It's well, nice restoration. Original driveline. It's a beautiful car. You know, with no stripes on, it looks totally different. Somebody drove it a bit. It's got 58,000 on it, 100 to 125,000. Original driveline, recent restoration. It's a Super Track Pack 410. Really nice. Just simply nice. I like that style interior instead of that one that was just flat. I don't know. I think that's the deluxe or it's the standard. That's right. It's a pistola grip as well. I tell you what, we've got an amazing amount of Mopars here, and I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here shortly. And sure appreciate y'all staying with me. And I'm gonna be bringing a really amazing amount of cars to y'all, and it's just gonna be good stuff. I'll go home and rest for a couple days, see my wife, and get ready for next week. Muscle Car Corner signing out. Thank y'all.